Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy. With me is our friend Joe.
How you
And
doing?
yeah, so I was wondering why you looking like that in that direction.
Oh, I'm sharing it out.
Oh, I see.
I got dual screens going on here.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm on a desktop computer, so I got dual screens in front of me. So I got it open over here, and I was trying to find it so I could share it out.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Good call. Oh, here we got Nikki.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey,
Nikki.
good to see you.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Hopefully, the weather's better in Australia than it is here.
It's nice and warmish.
Uh,
We're
here,
in winter.
here we got dark clouds. We've got rain. We've got
Thunder, lightning, hail.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's getting pretty crazy here.
It
But
just
Thomas, good to see
Thomas.
you. Hey, Santi. Oh, hey, how's it going, Leon? Thanks. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So tonight we are covering. Oh, wait, here, DJ Evan. Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
Hey.
So tonight this is something that's been requested for a while, ever since we covered the first movie. But here it is, The Conjuring 2, and wow, I remember first seeing this in theaters back in 2016. Has it really been that long now? Man, wow. Hey, Billy. Good to see you.
Hey, Billy.
And so, yeah, The Conjuring 2, it takes place 1977, and it focuses on the Enfield poltergeist in London. So it's pretty interesting to see, some paranormal activity taking place on another part of the world, So, and apparently this is one of the most
Mhm.
notorious cases.
Oh, wow.
No, Nick is joining us soon. He's just running late again. Here's a good question. How do you compare The Conjuring to Insidious? Well, I feel like The Conjuring has more historic value to it because it does depict like real actual hauntings with each film. But yeah, Insidious was entirely fictional but there are some good similarities, like paranormal investigations into like demonic hauntings. So, here. Hey, Nick.
What's up, guys?
yeah.
Sorry, I was running a few minutes late. I just literally finished, and this took several days, the daunting task of cleaning up my entire room/office. So it's all cleaned up, dust free.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So Nick, The Conjuring 2, this focuses on the Enfield poltergeist.
That's correct. Yes. What I told you about this last week, Don. Nick loves lava.
He does.
You know what? Actually, just before I get to that, I just want to say I just came onto my laptop. Obviously, I just came onto my laptop, Don.
Right.
And my background has a tendency to change. And what it shows right now is Minecraft. I didn't even add it. It's like the laptop knew. And to make matters worse, it's too bad Kate's not here to list this, but it's got bees.
Oh, the bees. Because they know. Your computer knows. You like the bees. Next time you start it, it's going to turn on the lava. It knows.
It definitely knows. It has a mind of its own, definitely.
Yes.
But anyways, for Conjuring 2, I mean, what's interesting about this case was it was only also just a few months ago I actually did a Nick Files episode on the actual case of what really happened in that house in Enfield.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, you did. So, yeah, the Enfield poltergeist. Though I do question like how the film depicts that accurately, as far as like historically accurate.
That's why I decided I thought this would be kind of cool for your show, Don, is actually show some of the actual stuff that I had presented on the slideshow. So
For sure.
we'll kind of make this like not necessarily, but kind of like a crossover. So because I'm not gonna show the full thing, obviously, because it would take a long time for me to get through. But
Right.
I'll show the most important parts of the slide that I made of the actual events itself.
Right. That'd be good. So yeah,
That'd be
good idea, Nick. And so Conjuring 2 was also again written and directed by James Wan, and we just covered one of his movies last week, Saw. So
That's correct.
It's a good movie too.
Oh yes. Oh yes, Conjuring 2. It's hey Christopher. I think this is this someone new? I think I recognize this name.
This Christopher
Christopher.
A. James. I feel like I've heard of that name before, but I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, as I always say, for any
Welcome.
newcomers who joined, yeah, just welcome.
Welcome. Yes. So yeah, Conjuring 2. So I believe this film takes place in 1977 at Enfield, which is I believe a part of London.
Yeah, it's in England. It's in the, I think, in the Greater London area.
Yeah, and this is taking place in like one of those small houses they have in that neighborhood. And yeah,
If I may show real quick, Don, one of the slides. Here's something that I could help you out with. I'll just
Ashley.
read from the. What's that? Oh, sorry. What was that, Nikki?
It's all right. I'm just yelling out people's names. Yeah.
Okay.
You go.
That's my daughter,
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Ashley. Glad-
my youngest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Awesome. Nice of you to tune in.
So let me give you a little tour, if you will, of the actual case. I'm gonna share the screen if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, like I said, I'm only going through slides partially. I'm not going through everything.
I got you.
Okay, so here, this is, and for those that haven't seen my show, this is actually what I do in documenting real cases like this. So here, start off this way.
Okay.
On the evening of Tuesday, August 30th, 1977, Peggy Hodgson, a 47-year-old divorced mother of four, and her brother John Burcombe heard loud noises and shuffling coming from her daughter's bedroom at her cramped council house in Ponders End, Enfield, London, England.
Oh, council house. That's what that's called. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, which is the poorest part of the borough at around 9:30 p.m. When she went into her children's bedroom to tell them to stop fighting and go to sleep, she found them, two sisters, 11-year-old Janet and 11-year-old Janet and 13-year-old. No, that's Janet. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah, this is Janet over here on the left, and that's Margaret on the right, huddled in the corner with terrified expressions on their faces.
Hey, Dead
They were
Souls.
completely shaking, and that there was an unmeasurable presence in the room. But thinking more of it, she went to bed. We told our mom the chest of drawers was moving toward the bedroom door. Janet recalled speaking on ITV in 2012. She said, "Oh, don't be silly. The house is 284 Green Street, a 3-bedroom council-owned semi-detached house dating from the 1920s. As you can see right here, Peggy Hodgson was considered by those who knew her to be a pleasant and conscientious, person, overcoming financial insecurity to do her best for her children. Margaret was serious and reserved. Janet, lively and extrovert. 10-year-old Johnny was only at home during the school holidays and some weekends since he boarded at a special school. The youngest child, 6-year-old Billy, suffered from a severe speech defect, but in other respects was a typical little boy. Mrs. Hodgson's brother, John Burcombe, a hospital worker, lived nearby at 272 Green Street with his wife, Sylvia, and 2 children, Paul and Denise. Oh, sorry. And this is where I'll stop. The 2 families appeared to be close, and John was supportive towards the Hodgsons. The Hodgsons' next door 282 neighbors were builder Vic Nottingham, a roofer, his wife also named Peggy, and their 20-year-old son, Gary. The relations between the families were seen to be friendly and supportive. So that gives you an inside view of the real family and the truth behind it.
Oh yes, and it does.
Oh, wow.
And of course, once these huntings became public, it was investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Well, actually, it actually wasn't as big as they showed in the movie. Because
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
because see, this is why I got the slideshow ready to kind of help you out with what actually happened and what actually didn't. And it turned out that Ed and Lorraine Warren in reality in 1978, they actually only stayed for just a few days. They were not as heavily as involved in this case as you see in the film.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm willing to bet that in the true story, there was no demonic nun called Valak, right?
No, there wasn't. That was just That was basically made for the movie. There was true poltergeist activity, but it was not. It was not. There was no demonic nun.
Well, of course, Hollywood has to embellish the story. They got to make money off of it. They got to grab your
That's correct.
attention and keep it.
Yep. And they did
Yep.
exactly that with this trailer that I got loaded here. Hang on. Let me just go ahead and
Yeah, take your time. You know what? I actually have to. While you're doing that, I actually got to make a quick correction.
Hang on.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So, in order to really sell the movie, they had to really make it as dramatic and, like really introduce some pretty gruesome ideas. And and they did that with this trailer.
This is my home. Get out now. No, this is not your house. Now, what's your name? My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm 72 years old.
What do you make of that voice?
Sounds confused. Is he senile?
The voice on this tape is coming from an 11-year-old girl. They're calling it England's Amityville. There is a family that desperately needs our help.
After everything we've seen, there isn't much that rattles either of us anymore. But this one still haunts me. Does it feel like the voice is coming from inside you?
Or like it's coming from behind me. Like I'm being used.
Janet, are you all right?
Stop calling me Janet.
She's such a good girl. What's so wrong with her? An oppressing spirit will try to force you to commit the ultimate sin. And what's that? Murder, suicide, or both? You believe us, don't you?
Sensing a presence?
I'm not sensing anything. All I can sense is their own fear.
Honey, you're bleeding. What is happening?
I had a premonition of your death.
Who's that?
The family's just a pawn. Something inhuman wants to kill you. If we keep doing this, you're going to die.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, but like I said, the entire story is not obviously fully accurate.
Right.
The other thing I wouldn't have done though is I wouldn't have compared that. Well, I'm sure. Well, this was made not too long ago, but I wouldn't have compared it to Amityville. I mean, I'm sure that's what they did when the actual events occurred in real life, but Amityville, we all know, is kind of in a way a hoax.
And I covered that too on my slideshow. I was kind of getting to the slideshow I made for Amityville was, by a lot of people, was probably the best way I ever I gave the story of Amityville. Like I told it as like they originally said it, but then we started going into kind of the real side of, was there really, all this going on, or was there a very different side? So that's what I love about my show is I directly go into the details.
Myself personally, everything I've seen and read, the Lutzes were nothing but a joke.
Well, with
my book.
Well, and I'll just say this because we've actually had, I don't know if I ever told you, Don.
What?
We actually had one of the kids of the Lutz family at one of our Paracons several years ago. His name's Christopher Quarantino. Now, he does explain that there was paranormal activity, but not like what you see in the movie or the books. It's again, same with Enfield. It's a very different story, and he wants nothing to do with his dad George. Because
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, I can understand, you know, with all the evil that went in that house with DeFeo and the DeFeo family. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some residual leftover something there.
Right. Oh, and
But
Kate,
that's the extreme that they made it out to be to make that movie.
Here. Oh, here. Kate was saying loving the British accents, proper British, not fake. Yeah, it's because they got British cast to play the part of that family. So yeah, that was great. I really liked it, and yeah, it's a very creepy trailer. And Sinister was scary as well. I agree. Oh, and yeah, Amityville was mentioned shown in this film when they were like when it had the Warrens investigates the haunting at Amityville, where just in recent years at that time, that's when what
looks like. Well, what's the matter? Are you looking at the comments or?
I thought Nikki said something.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I think she froze.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's being a pain in the ass.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, they were investigating like the hauntings that had taken place right after Ronald DeFeo had murdered his entire family with a shotgun in that house, in the Amityville house. And I just love that opening shot that they did for Conjuring 2, like where it zoomed out from like the interior of the upstairs, like when I saw those two windows. Yes, when I saw those two quarter moon windows, immediately I knew Amityville house.
And you guys have probably noticed they haven't really made a full movie of Amityville for the Conjuring series, and there was actually a very good reason. And this is probably why they they had that opening scene. Was James Wan basically, when he was working on these films, he was going to try to make a Conjuring movie for every case that the Warrens were involved with, except the Amityville horror. The reason for that was because there have been so many movies that have made since the original one came out in 1979. I mean, since the original one came out, and not counting all these ripoffs of these crazy titles, there's been about 10, 11, or at least a dozen official movies of Amityville that have came out. I got them all actually right to the side.
But
what's that?
I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
But James Wan had said that if they made a Conjuring movie just focusing on Amityville, it was just going to be another movie to add to the franchise. So that's why they never have made an official movie, and they just added an opening scene instead of a.
Well, I think James Wan could have done Amityville a little justice in a way. You know, a lot of those movies are based on what the Lutzes did and said, and their lawyer, you know, when they wrote the books. You know, I think if he did it right and based it on the Warrens' investigation, it might have been an interesting film to watch.
It's possible. Here's the entire collection right here.
The guy did a fantastic job with Saw. I really enjoyed both the Conjuring movies that I've watched.
Now, the most recent Amityville film that had been made that actually is pretty accurate, believe it or not, is this one right here, The Amityville Murders, which was released.
Check that out.
It's released. It was released in 2018. And you know what's interesting about it? It actually, in some way, see, here's the funny thing. I haven't even watched it yet because I've been so busy. But what's interesting about The Amityville Murders is that it's kind of like a remake of Amityville 2: The Possession, made back in 1982.
I remember.
But this time, well, and here's what's interesting. They have two of the actors from the 1982 film in this movie. Burt Young, who a lot of people, of course, also remember from the Rocky films.
Rocky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paulie from the Rocky movies. Yeah, and he died recently.
Yeah, he did.
It's sad. He was a great actor.
He was.
But he not necessarily reprises his character like what he did in the original film from the 80s, but he obviously plays a much more calmer, nicer guy than what he was in the original movie. And then the actress that played the teenage daughter, Diane Franklin, is also.
I know who she is.
Yeah, well, and here's what's funny. She played the teenage daughter in the original film. In this one, she plays the mother this time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll give that one a chance, Nick. Hey, as long as it's better than the one where it's Amityville House in space. Seriously.
Oh God, no!
Seriously,
Hell no!
No, seriously, why is that even a thing?
Oh, they're. If you guys, I mean, for those that don't know, for the last number of years, at least 10 years or so, they have been making these crazy movies, movies with these rip-off titles that have little to nothing to do with Amityville. It's just obviously to try to cash in. And before Amityville Murders, the only other movie that actually focused on Amityville, which is not true, it was just made more for entertainment, was this one, Amityville: The Awakening. So, but that gives you an idea of why James Wan never made an Amityville film for the Conjuring series.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels like the whole Amityville, it feels like played out.
Well, and even director Eli Roth at one point wanted to make his own movie, but I think because since the Amityville Murders was made, he couldn't make that movie anymore. He wanted to. His movie was actually going to be called 1974, which again would have focused on the DeFeo family, and that's what the Amityville Murders is. Instead of what they did in the original film, where they changed the name and they made a lot of changes to the original family, they actually stick to the story this time.
Oh wow!
Wow. Yeah. Oh, here, Ashley agrees.
Oh, here's a question Chris just asked.
Oh,
oh, geez, don't give
Oh,
any
come on. You can't cross over like that.
oh my God.
So Chris,
That's a little crazy.
Chris here has an interesting question. I'll wait until Nikki comes back though, because it's something involving Australia.
Oh,
wait, she's back.
Yeah.
She's not. She's back. She's not.
You good, Nikki?
Yeah, it's just dropping in and out. It's a pain in the ass, but I can still hear you.
Okay.
Well, Chris here has a question, and I don't know if you know this. I don't even know this myself, but Chris asks, does Australia have an Amityville house of its own, like its own version?
That is a very good question. Probably.
Look, Googling it now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some research on that.
Oh,
The only place that I can think would be close to it would be Kristen Knight's house where she murdered her husband. But it's pretty much the only place I can really think of that's close to that. But I'll have to look up information. Right.
Let's see. Doing research. Not sure if I'm really finding anything like that for Australia, but
Yeah. But talking about that, we did our very first investigation at it's called the Kalamunda Hotel here in Perth. My top investigation that I've ever done since I've been doing paranormal investigating in evidence.
Wow.
Yeah. Nick, I sent you a photo of the previous owner and what we caught in the window.
Oh yes, I've been meaning to open that. I'll check it out later tonight.
Yeah, it's quite.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, as we see, there's a lot going on with this film. Like Lorraine Warren is like terrified of. I see. Actually,
Thank you.
Is terrified of this vision she keeps having of Ed dying from being impaled by a tree branch, which the whole tree branch thing seemed kind of random, but it makes sense later on near the end of the film. But and they're having visions of a nun who will turn out to be the main antagonist and go on to like having these part of her have its own spin-off series. I believe the Nun 2 that came out
series. Yeah, first they just made this. They just released the sequel last year.
They did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything to make money.
Yeah, I mean, the Conjuring universe is the most profitable horror franchise of all time.
Well,
so
I can see how this one made a lot of money. It was well written. It was well done. It was well casted. You know,
the way how I see it too is that although it's more paranormal in nature, I would say that the Conjuring franchise pretty much is like the modern day like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, where they kept, making dozens of sequels, and it's kind of the same thing. And you're absolutely right too, Don. I mean, it's the most successful franchise, although it's still considered for America, though, because if you kind of think worldwide, it's actually the second. It's only behind, believe it or not, the Godzilla franchise.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Yeah, as far as America goes, yeah, that is our most successful horror franchise.
Correct.
Yes. Like I said, he can't handle jump scares. Oh, well, I gotta say,
I like those the best.
oh yeah, jump scares can be pretty cool. Like Alien, I think had some well-timed jump scares.
Yeah.
They can be pretty funny if you're sitting there with a group of people, and watching that movie, and then all of a sudden the one person freaks out because just something's coming, and you go something like, you jump at them and make them jump. Hey, it's all in fun and games. I've said that. I raised all my kids on horror movies so they wouldn't be afraid of them.
Oh yeah, you raised on horror movies. I kind of raised myself on horror movies. Like I was pretty much the only big horror fan in my family. Like my mom hated horror. My dad didn't really care that much for it, but my sisters definitely really didn't. I mean, they only saw like probably just a handful. Like I said, the only horror film I think my oldest sister Kristen watched was Evil Dead, and so yeah, I was pretty much the only one.
Tom, here's something interesting. So he graduated from high school in 1977, which was also the same year my dad also graduated high school. Never heard the story from England. That's the thing too about when you kind of think of like when you look at the movie and the real event, unless like it was a major ordeal, a lot of news, especially international, never always made it here to the United States or other countries because, first off, we didn't have, of course, the social media or ways to really get out.
77, you only had 3 channels.
Exactly. So unless again it was like a major historic event, you were probably not going to hear about this case.
Right, and that's and also that reminds me of another scene in this movie where Janet is like at home, is sick, had to stay home from school, was channel surfing. There was only just like a handful of channels, and that was a big, thick remote control that she had, and only had just a few buttons on it.
That's right.
I'm like, wow, that's what TV was like back then. Nothing like the 4K screen I have right here. But here, Ashley says the only ones I hate are the Chucky movies and the Leprechaun movies. Oh well, well here's the thing, Ashley.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
Here's the thing, Ashley. Next Tuesday, we're covering Child's Play, the very first one from 1988, which I'm proud to say was made right here in Chicago.
Yeah, really?
Right.
Oh yeah,
I've
driven past the locations. I've driven past where they filmed the opening scene.
Oh, Nick, you're gonna have to take me around.
Yep. I was just right there the other day.
Don is a tour guide telling us all the.
So yeah, like I was saying, I was just there the other day when I was I drove past right where they filmed the opening scene on Wabash and Van Buren. That's where that toy store was.
But when I come to the,
I won't say it now, but I got a really cool trivia fact about that area, Don. But I'll save it for the chat for Child's Play next week. Yeah,
that's one movie I won't have to watch. I've seen it a dozen times or more.
Yep, it's a teenage high school.
Oh no, don't do Chucky. Nope, do not.
Jeremy does though. He's got a doll at his place.
I used to have a Chucky's doll that was actually from the studios back when I worked in the video stores.
Nice,
but it got destroyed or lost or something.
It gives toys a bad name. Oh yeah.
Oh, it doesn't. I want a good guy doll.
Pedophobia. I think it's called pedophobia or something. The fear of dolls.
Yeah.
That's widely what it created. I mean, like you look at all kinds of movies about dolls that are terrifying. Like you think about that the classic episode of The Twilight Zone, the Talkie Tina episode. That played a huge role in inspiring Chucky.
Or there was a really old, I think it might have been, what was it called? I think it was called Magic. It was a guy and his
Anthony Hopkins was
dummy, and the damn thing comes to life on him.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he hallucinates.
He was
but
he
there
was
is-
what do you call that? Ventriloquist.
Yeah, ventriloquism.
That's right.
There
And,
was he's hallucinating that the doll is actually talking, but there is one scene in the movie where the eyes move completely on their own and he's not hallucinating. So it gives that question. Is he really hallucinating or is the doll really alive? You don't really know, but it's creepy though.
It is. Oh yes. So yeah, that's what we got for you guys next week. Child's Play, where we where the world got first introduced to the baddest, most murderous doll of all time, Chucky.
And was also the subject, believe it or not, based on a real possessed doll that I'll have I think a lot of us are all too familiar with. Oh, here's a good question from Kate. I've seen this. Have you seen this, Nikki? The Babadook?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Babadook.
Yeah, it came out 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, Ashley just said it. Robert.
Hey,
Yep, said. Now everybody's saying it.
yeah, no. Don't do dolls. You know, you can stick your doll where. Yep.
And yeah, so I wanted to comment, Nick. You were saying about how James Wan didn't really want to make his own Amityville horror movie. Well, that opening scene of Conjuring 2, like where it showed where Lorraine was having that vision, like out of body experience, like to show what happened in the Amityville house. I think that's about as close as we're going to get to an Amityville horror movie from James Wan. Just that.
Well, that's why he added that opening scene. Although he didn't want to make a film specifically just on Amityville, he still wanted to have some type of involvement with that case. Like,
Right.
Again, I get that he didn't want to make it because it was made multiple times, but you know, even when it comes to a case like this, you have to have some kind of involvement in the case, you know, whether you like it or not, because that's their most famous case, obviously.
Oh yes. It's like they kept that scene like pretty tame, I guess. I mean, yeah, this is like an R-rated movie. They could have done much worse than just like what they showed as far as like him shooting like his family. Like they kept it very they're fine on one shot, and the next shot they just have a gunshot wound that's not really all that wasn't really all that graphic. But
the other thing too about Amityville too, I didn't even tell you guys this, by the way. 2-3 years. That's funny.
Oh, that's terrible.
Ashley,
that is terrible.
I'm just going to say this to Ashley. I think if I saw that, I'd be more scared of the Care Bears than the Chucky doll.
No,
Care Bears, they're cute.
Yeah, I know.
Here's what I do if Chucky's in my house: just kick him. Seriously, he's a little doll.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yes, same floor.
yeah, but
Oh, not poor Ashley.
I mean,
Barbecue that sucker.
exactly. I just want to say, have the greatest day. Sadly, I can't stand because I need more sleep. Oh, hey, no problem, Dead Souls. Hey,
Night,
thanks,
Dead Souls.
thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Dead Souls. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Good night.
The one thing I was going to say now, what I was going to say was when I mentioned about Christopher Quarantino, I actually tried inviting him on one of our shows about 2-3 years ago, but unfortunately, the response I got was not really the brightest. It was obvious he was kind of, irritated by it. And, I mean, when people act that way, I mean, normally you'd stop talking to them, but he was a rare exception because after everything he went through, I don't blame him for him acting that way, especially with all the controversy that involved with Amityville. And that would be the case for anybody. So I was like, I understand.
Put yourself in his shoes. Yeah, you got to put yourself in his shoes once.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. You got this. You got the reality of what really happened in that house versus the blown out of proportion story that was concocted to make money.
Exactly.
And his dad and it was all part of it. And then I'd change my name too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
he moved out.
He obviously changed his name.
He did. He also moved out when he.
So
he
I mean,
the house he also moved out of the house when he was only 16.
You know, a person only changes their name usually for 3 reasons. One, you get married and you're female.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 2 is your family is a disgrace and you want nothing to do with them and you don't want to be associated with your family. Or 3, you're hiding from something or somebody.
Well, Chris, he said he was still close to Kathy, his mom, because that was obviously his biological mother. George was a stepfather, so he wanted nothing to do with him afterwards. He still stayed in contact with Kathy, and I think obviously kind of drove a wedge between even all 3 kids. So the daughter Missy has not come. Hey, what's up, Jill?
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
The daughter's not come forward since. She's completely in hiding. Then Daniel Lutz, of course, also did that documentary called My Amityville Horror, which from what I heard, Daniel and Chris, they don't get along. So other than that, it's really Chris who's been speaking about this. He's hoping one day that a film could actually be made of what really happened. But like I said, though, when I tried inviting him, you know,
she buried a Chucky doll in ice.
No, I'll get a flamethrower and burn that sucker.
Oh man.
But yeah, like I said, I could definitely understand where he was coming from. So I don't blame him for the way how he was feeling.
Yes. So yeah, Jill. So tonight we're covering, as you can see, we're covering Conjuring 2. We kind of got in this discussion about the opening scene, how it's basically like going over the Amityville haunting, that investigation that Ed and Lorraine Warren did, and yeah, I mean, Amityville Horror, that's like one of the biggest hauntings that's been talked of time and time again, like adapted into films more often than any other case that I know of.
Oh yeah, there's so many versions of like copies of it kind of since the first one.
I just showed my collection I got of the official movies that were made.
Oh yeah? How many?
I'll get them again. I'm willing to do it. Give me a second here.
Which Leprechaun movie had the grandpa grandson? Oh, that was the second one, Ashley.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Here. Yes. That was Ginger Wolf.
We just did Leprechaun.
Yeah, we did.
Well, a couple months ago.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, the second one.
Right.
That was it. Yeah, that's correct. And you know what? I forgot something in this collection too anyway, so I had to bring it back.
Leprechaun
There you go, Phil.
Oh, wait. Amityville in Space?
Yeah.
For you.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah, some of them are on VHS, but this is the official collection, not all those rip-off ones. I know, of course, the VHS ones were kind of rip-offs, but at least they were more professional films, even though they weren't that great. But this right here is the official franchise.
Oh, nice. Hey, Nick. You said that you were missing one, and I said Amityville in Space.
No, thank God, no. It's not even a movie. It's not even a movie.
Hey, I'm just kidding.
Can't go wrong with this.
There you go.
Book.
The original story.
Yeah.
Nice. One day we got to cover the Amityville Horror, like the original.
Yeah, we do.
We will one day. We will soon. One day.
One day.
Oh, Leprechaun 2? Yeah, Leprechaun. Everybody says like Leprechaun 3 is the best out of all of them, actually. Like taking place in Vegas, but I feel
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I feel like the characters were kind of a downgrade. It feels like the romance between the main characters felt very forced.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's like
I don't think I've seen them.
Yeah, but I think it was for me for Leprechaun 3. It was the limericks.
Oh, okay.
It had the funniest limericks.
It did.
You know, and otherwise, I actually would go with. I really like the first one.
Yep, Jennifer Aniston's first film.
Yep.
One thing I want to also point out, and this is back to The Conjuring 2, and this is actually something I'm sure you'd find interesting, Don. You know, like when I mentioned about before about how in reality the Warrens were only involved with the case for a few days. Right. There is one thing I wish they could have done with The Conjuring 2. There was another famous investigator that was part of it, which of course he's seen in the movie. The investigator who had the glasses, the British investigator,
right,
whose real name is Maurice Gross. Maurice Gross. Excuse me. He was actually probably more heavily involved with the Enfield case than the Warrens did. So what I wish they could have done was they should have had more of the focus on Maurice Gross than the Warrens did because it would have made it a lot more accurate.
Yeah, they just wanted to make it more about the Warrens, you know.
Yeah, although if you didn't know this, just a year before The Conjuring 2 came out in 2015, there was actually a 2-part documentary film or movie also on the Enfield case. And that one too actually focused on Maurice Gross. But once again, not everything they showed was accurate, but at least they got part of that film right.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, yeah, I was just looking at that comment.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, yeah, there were some pretty terrifying scenes in this. Like, it's like, sure, they introduced some villains that were not, you know, were not accurate historically, such as, like we said, the nun, but also the Crooked Man, who was like being depicted, like who was from this. What do they call that toy? What is that device called?
It was like a music box.
Zoetrope,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, which is basically like an early form of animation using like this rotation and a light. Yeah, and played this song for this for the son Billy to help him with his stutter, and yeah, played this song for him. But then the demon manifests itself into that character, the Crooked Man, and I like how the Crooked Man is played by Javier Botet. We've talked about him before on the podcast. Yeah, he was he's got Marfan syndrome, like where it goes more tall but thin, kind of a build to him. And yeah, he's like 6'7", and he's like got long fingers, long arms. He's played all kinds of monsters in movies, such as the Leper from the 2017 It remake. He was Slenderman in that god awful Slenderman movie from a few years ago. But
Don, I don't mean to cut you off. Nikki has to go, unfortunately.
Oh,
hey guys, sorry. Yeah, my daughter's got can't speak now. Cross country run in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna see her try and run it. So have a great day, guys.
Take care, Nikki.
See you, Nikki. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye, Nikki.
Sorry, Don. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this man is like made a name for himself in horror. He was also Mama in Mama. He was also, let's see. Oh
He
yeah.
was also in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. He was Some of the Monsters.
Yes, and he was also in Wreck, my favorite found footage horror film, where he was. He didn't appear until the very end of it. But here, let me just pull up a picture just to remind everybody. Here, Javier.
As I would say, he's kind of. I probably said this before on one of the other shows. He's what I would consider kind of like the modern day, like Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, or Lon Chaney Jr. of today's generation, because much like
actors of horror film.
Yeah, I mean, much like those actors back in the day, he's kind of taken over that legacy by playing different monsters because of his condition.
Right. He's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, it's very slender look.
Very slender look. So that's why he was Slender Man.
Yeah, which he did look good as Slender Man. Just the rest of the movie was terrible.
Yeah, that's right. Here's his latest work.
That's what's that from?
That's from the new Dracula movie, Last Voyage of Demeter.
Okay.
Demeter, yes. That's where he was a vampire. It was big, yeah. That movie was basically based on this a few of the chapters from the Dracula. And let's see. Well, I'm trying to find where he was. Yeah, I'm trying to find where he was in. Oh yes, this was it. This is the role that he played when he was in Wreck. Creepy, huh?
Very creepy.
Yeah. So, yeah, this guy has done some amazing work over the years for horror.
Yeah, that whole character, the Crooked Man, was based on a nursery rhyme.
Yes,
that's correct.
That is true. Yeah, let me just find just to give people like the Crooked Man. Here, let me just
now. While you're looking that up, as far as what I know from what I studied about the Hodgson family, they never had a music box like that in real life at the Enfield house.
Yeah, I figured that was just made up for the movie.
Yep.
Oh, here, this is what they. Oh no, that's not from. That's from something else. It's hard to do this land like they're here. Hang on.
What are you trying to look for?
I was trying to zoom in. Yep. So that's how he appeared as the Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2.
It's crazy.
Hey, it's right into that poem. I read the poem. I got it. I brought it up over here.
Yes. So basically using a song or a poem to help with a stutter. They did the exact same thing in It.
Yep.
Yep. So, I wanted to ask you, Jill, what did you think of The Conjuring 2?
I liked it. It's makes you more curious about the true story, knowing it's a Hollywood film, but they did a good job tying them all together.
Oh, yes.
Like the series, Conjuring, Insidious.
And they all she put the full nursery rhyme of the Crooked Man. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was great, Kate. Awesome.
If I may show something now, and this is actually kind of creepy, again,
Please.
to kind of delve into the real case. I know this was shown in the credits, but I have some of the photographs that supposedly, even though it's kind of debatable, it shows the photos of the youngest daughter who supposedly had levitated in the air. And these were all, and I put these all in chronological order, which Jill, I was just explaining, we've kind of been making this like a Nick Files FearFans crossover. So
Yeah, I saw that when you did that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you saw. So here's how it all first started. That supposedly she's lifting up into the air.
I'm levitating. Don't you know that song, Nick?
Yeah, I know that song. So yeah, these are the actual photos. These are self. And I got one other slide.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, they're this one, that one's the most famous picture of them all. But as you can see, I mean, at times it does look like she's levitating, but at the same time, though, it does look like she's also jumping out of bed. But it's kind of hard to say. What do you guys think?
Oh.
You guys think she's actually levitating, or is it just her jumping off a bed like she's staging it?
She could
She's
be.
either jumping or she's being thrown.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
I think she's jumping. It just, I don't know. It's hard to believe. It's I jumped on a lot of beds when I was a kid, and that's a lot what it looked like. Your legs go up, and
yeah. Don, what do you think?
It could be. It does look like jumping, but looking at a few of these images where I kind of question that.
There's one, like the first one on the bottom to the left. Oh, you changed it now.
Sorry, no, I put it back. That was my fault. Sorry.
The first one on the bottom to the left.
This one right here?
Yeah, that one right there. You got your cursor on it.
Yeah.
That one's the only one that I would say that she's possibly levitating in.
Oh,
okay.
That's Ashley, Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
If her legs weren't like so pushed up, then like the parts where her legs are more like straighter, I would think maybe levitating.
Yeah, what she
but when
said.
her knees are like pushed up like that, it's like a jumping motion.
Yeah, because these pictures here, I'm going to go back to. You can kind of see that as she kind of is lifting up into the air, they do. Her legs start to straighten up, but as she gets up into the air, her legs start curving. But like you said, Joe, this is the only one that might be believable because that's the only one that has her legs kind of straightened up.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw Tom's comment here.
I was going to say, Don, you'll have to leave it's up to you to watch the comments because when I do my slideshows, I can't see the comments when I'm doing this, unfortunately.
Oh, right. My mistake. Yeah.
But let's see. If she was in bed, why was the bed made up then?
Why was the bed made? Like, why was it?
I never even really noticed that.
Well, Tom, I'll answer this for you. You should know better than this. If you're in the 70s, when you were in the 70s back then, most kids were forced to make their beds every morning, right? If it's hot out, why would you want to be under the blankets? You'd be sleeping above the blankets,
Right.
Depending on the time of year, the location. Hey, maybe she slept above the blankets, so she didn't have to make her bed in the morning.
Well, and Believe it or not, I think a lot of us have done that, especially when it gets hot outside.
Well, yeah.
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 Now here's actually this was not featured in the movie. Not necessarily this is paranormal, but here, let me get the screen up. This was actually kind of interesting. Hang on, I always have to do this trick to share the screen for it because I got to go back from PowerPoint to this. Now, this, as it's going to say here, is this original. You're going to see it in just like this is original 16 millimeter film stock that was used to film the Hodgson family in their home, but on several occasions was unable to get clear shots, as you can see by these 16 millimeter film stocks. Whether or not this was, and of course it says whether or not this was affected by the poltergeist itself is unknown. It could have most likely just been something logical, but it's still interesting with what showed up on the film stock. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of the things that was not featured in the film.
You know, that's interesting.
Yeah, it really is. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
I wonder if it's some kind of form of writing, you know, like hieroglyphs or something, or some ancient text.
Maybe it is, but then again, these were 16 millimeter cameras that they were using, and I know at times sometimes those cameras did malfunction, but it's kind of hard to say.
That technology was a pain in the ass back then.
Yeah, but in other words, photography was still kind of in its infancy in a way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we still had Polaroid instant cameras, but you know, some paranormal investigators like those today.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I would say no way.
Hey, Nick, I just thought of something. There was another ghost in this film that I'm wondering if it was like for real or not, or if that was based on something from the actual case of Enfield. There was the character, the old man, Bill Wilkins.
Yes, that's actually what I'm looking for right now.
I'm Ben Wilkins. I'm 72 years old.
So what they said, they actually said that there were possibly two entities in this house, not the nun, of course. What I'm going to read here from this slide, it's two slides actually, but they're relatively short. And this will answer your question too, Don, about the supposed Bill Wilkins. So the first case that they found was, first off, more members of the SPR joined them on Saturday, December 10th. Dr. John Beloff Gregory, who was actually, if you remember, the skeptic in Conjuring 2, that was her. That's actually her, Anita Gregory. The group challenged the entity to speak. An anomalous voice began to emanate from Janet. It started, and this is one of the pictures that was taken. It started as a series of whistles and dog-like barks. Then Janet entered a trance-like state. Then a deep, gruff, scratchy voice speaking through her, calling himself Joe Watson, and developed into a human voice, that of an elderly male, harsh and guttural, and quite unlike Janet's. Joe claimed that he had lived in the house, a fact seemingly unknown to Janet. It habitually swore and claimed to be still living and to sleep in Janet's bed. Now, however, the next night on Sunday, December 11th, the voice said that his name was Bill Wilkins. And on Tuesday, December 13th, Maurice Gross's son, Richard, who was a newly qualified solicitor, helped his father in two and such, is the only member of the Law Society to have supposedly cross-examined a ghost. Gross recalls how every breakfast time my father would play a tape or two. It started off with noises, bangings. Then it moved on to banging in response to questioning. That's actually him right there.
Oh.
The spirit responded with banging in response to questions, but the man's gruff and raspy voice was soon heard when the children were present in the room, coming from somewhere behind Janet's neck, while her lips hardly seemed to be moving. The voice identified itself, as I said, as Bill Wilkins, who had died in the house at the age of 72 years before. Richard asked him how he died, and he said, I went blind and I had a hemorrhage. I fell asleep and I died in a chair in the corner downstairs. So that's where that line came from.
Like in the movie, yeah.
Yep. The story of dying in a corner seat in the living room was later confirmed by Bill's son, Harry, and that this was indeed how his father had died.
Wow.
When Playfair asked why he wasn't visible, Bill said, "I'm invisible because I'm a ghost." So apparently he somehow knew. Oh, actually, one other thing I want to share here, because this is actually where things going to get interesting.
Okay.
This right here, I'm going to play this for you. These are actual recordings of the voice. These Enfield poltergeist recordings feature the alleged poltergeist referred to as Bill responding to various questions via the body of Janet. The gruff voice became synonymous with the case. Skeptics believe that Janet was simply disguising her voice, while others saw it as proof that she was possessed. I'm just going to play a quick, a small sample of it because it's about 10 and a half minutes. So I'll play like 2 minutes of it.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Oh, wait. Can you guys hear anything yet? Whoops.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I had an issue. Let's try it one more time. Listen carefully.
Oh, shit. Mr. Brown, go to sleep and he's talking. Janet, Mark, and Betty are all asleep and he's talking. I'm good. Hello, Mr. Playfair. Margaret's asleep and I'm talking.
I know some of the audio is kind of garbled, but this was the best I could do.
Margaret, Johnny, up at our station, we're talking. Just Margaret. I'm sorry, I'm not late. I'm very late. Hello, late. Bang on the floor. And they all come up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty creepy recording, but it's definitely a real interesting one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I was trying to get a sense of it. I feel like there is accuracy in what's going on. It's just like there's a mixture of between like she was trying to also do more than what was happening. So that's why you get like both. Like you get maybe some fake, but some is real.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I feel like that's not a good recording. So there's something in that. Some truth to her story. Definitely.
Well, and here's what it says to add about the voice. What now from the skeptical side of what some people were saying. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a creepy voice nonetheless. But what some others were also saying was that to rule out the possibility of Janet faking the voice, Gross taped up her mouth, but the voice continued to somehow be heard, somewhat subdued, as was the case on future occasions when Janet's mouth was also filled with water. He then asked Janet to hold water in her mouth, which she did, and the voice could still be heard talking. Gross recorded many hours of the voice by using a contact microphone placed on the back of Janet's head of what appeared to be a different and louder sound than her normal voice. The details which are related in Melvin Williams' The Enfield Poltergeist tapes. A speech therapist, however, approached by the investigators and who examined Janet, couldn't be certain and was unable to say where the voice was coming from or how it was being sustained, though it bore some resemblance to a false vocal cord tone. John Hasted carried out an experiment together with Adrian Forsin, a phonetics expert at University College London. Tests with a largograph indicated an effect known as plica ventricularis, which is where muscle tension behind the throat can produce sounds independent of vocal cords. However, there are known side effects in this condition, and using this much muscle tension to speak often results in around 6 weeks of hoarseness and extremely sore throat and can do some serious damage, none of which happened to Janet, who would speak up for up to 3 hours.
Huh.
Since no cause could be found, it was concluded that something was using Janet as an amplifier.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came across this link right here. I don't know if it's like talking about Bill Wilkins, like, and according to this image right here, it says that he might be buried close by to where the house was.
I think so, because I don't know. That's the interesting thing about, unlike what you see in Conjuring 2, is that Bill Wilkins' son, who was still alive himself at that time, was never featured in the movie. I think it would have been interesting if they had a character play his son and maybe actually make it even more accurate about like where Bill Wilkins may have actually been buried.
Yeah. and they said that in the movie that he died in his chair. Is that how it was? That's how it was in real life, right? The true story.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah, same exact line.
Oh.
Well, I think it's like the chair got brought to the house, so he might not have died in the house, but he's part of the chair, like attached.
Yeah, an attachment. So it's very likely, yeah, he could have died.
He could have died somewhere else, but like the chair was his.
It was probably his most prized possession. That's why he was still attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel attached to the chair that I'm sitting in, my grandpa's work chair.
And who knows? You could be still haunting that chair. If someone took that chair, Don, and brought it to their house, most likely.
Even if my grandpa Don existed here as a spirit, I'm doing what he would have wanted. He would have wanted me to save this chair. He'd have no issue with me having it.
No, I'm just saying, let's just say if after your time has passed and you really love the chair just as much as your grandfather did, who knows? You may still be attached to it even after death. So if someone, let's say, brought it to their house, you're probably most likely going to follow it because that was your grandfather's chair. It's one of your prized possessions.
Yeah, I have a few prized possessions from my loved ones who I've lost, like that Jaws book, that first edition, which belonged to my great aunt Rosemary. My grandpa's bracelet, his silver bracelet. So. Yeah, I have quite a few heirlooms.
Sit in and watch them get thrown.
Yeah, only I sit in this chair. That's my rule.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So I guess Sarah, you just introduced another reason why nobody else should sit in this chair.
You are adding your energy to familial objects. She's not wrong, actually, on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this chair, I intend to keep it exactly the way it is. I'm not going to have it there's you can't see it here, but there are spots of paint here because my grandpa Don was an artist. He painted that's how he made his living. Independent artist, and he did portraits. He did pictures of paintings of mostly of the city, of certain spots like Wrigley Field and Lincoln Park Zoo and. But there's still spots of dried paint on here, so I tend to keep on that there.
Trying to see if there's anything else I could add.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what?
Made a comment about Sheldon because Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. He always sits in one particular spot. So,
it's
Sarah,
the conditions.
Sarah, I do this for a very specific reason with my grandpa Don's chair, right? Because I keep it to so that I can sit in it while I'm doing my creative work, not like for when I'm creating my content. I'm honoring my grandpa by doing all my creative work from the very seat where he did his creative work.
I can actually share that with you, Don, because since I'm sitting in my secondary desk here in the basement, and you've seen it, of course.
Right.
This desk, I know you can't see it from where I'm sitting, was also my grandfather's desk.
I figured.
So in a way, I'm kind of doing the same thing you're doing. I'm carrying on his work with with the very desk that he worked on back in the day.
Wow.
And now I'm kind of doing the same. It's a desk this time in this case. So this is original.
Nice. That's awesome.
Wait, who messaged me?
Yep. So there is one other thing I'd like to share when it comes to the real Enfield case. Now, this is yes, Sarah, I did remember to plug in this time.
Family is so powerful. And it is, Chris. It certainly is.
So at least one other thing I'd like to show as far as like video. So you were talking about that scene, Don, about the news scene, like when Janet's supposedly possessed and it's being filmed on television, right?
Right.
I got the footage of it, the real footage.
Okay.
I'm only going to show once again just parts of it because the entire video is like 25 minutes. So I'm just going to kind of skip ahead. But this will be as close as you will ever see to the real case of the Enfield poltergeist. You heard the audio. Now you're going to see the visual.
Nice. And yes, Billy, this is where they introduced the nun, Valak. This is it.
So just bear with me for just a second here.
Okay. And oh yes, that's right. There is a fourth one coming out. Last Rites. That's what it's supposed to be called. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to investigate in that one.
Sarah said to send it to her. I think the actual video. Sarah, I'll send you the link. Here's the other interesting thing about this video. This video is actually not very hard to find. You could find it on YouTube. So I just made a copy of it just so I had it for the slide itself. So once again, Don, I'm going to leave you to the comments because I can't see them now while I'm doing this. So I'm just going to kind of skip ahead, but this is actually from the BBC.
There's a house in a terraced street in Ponders End, North London, where the events of the past 2 months have baffled all who've heard about them and scared the life out of those who've been directly involved. This is the home of Mrs. Peggy Hodgson.
I know it's a little dark.
At the moment, the children are being looked after by relatives because Mrs. Hodgson is ill in bed. The sequence of bizarre happenings which unfolded around these children and their mother in September have made the walls of the house rattle with the impact of flying objects and the sound of mysterious knockings. Soon a second family was drawn into the action. The next-door neighbours, Peggy and Vic Nottingham.
We've been sitting listening to the knocking, and the woman next door, she called me in. We couldn't make out what it was. I heard the knocking as I walked in the front door, but I went all over the house, checked the walls, checked everything. Just couldn't make out what it was. So in the end, I thought to myself, well, there's only one thing. I'll call the police.
One of the 2 police officers sent to investigate made the following remarkable statement about what they heard and saw in this living room. There were 4 distinct taps on the wall and then silence. About 2 minutes later, I heard more tapping from a different wall. The other police constable checked the walls, attic, and pipes, but could find nothing to explain the knocking. The eldest son of the family pointed to a chair next to the sofa. I then saw the chair slide across the floor. It moved approximately 3 to 4 feet and then came to rest. I checked the chair, but could find nothing to explain how it had moved.
Please.
I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to try to find that part where supposedly the audio is. Oh, yeah. Actually, right. Oh, here's Maurice Gross.
And the documentation have been excellent. The violent things I've seen happen are the furniture moving, the furniture being thrown upside down. In fact, one night I was standing here, there were about 11 or 12 people in the room, and I was standing talking to one of the members of the family, and in front of the settee, and the settee went straight up in the air and turned upside down, right in front of me, no more than a foot away from me.
What particular tape stands out in your mind?
Well, I think one particular tape that stands out in my mind is the incident where I was communicating with it quite a long while, very seriously. And then something happened which was very funny indeed.
Knock 1 for no and 2 for yes. Are you a male spirit? 1 for no and 2 for yes. That's 2. You are a male spirit. Did you used to live in this house? You did. Was it more than 50 years ago? Yes. Did you die in this house? Did you pass on? You did pass on in this house. Now, why are you here? Are you unhappy? You're not unhappy. But why are you here? Is it because you want to give us a special message? No. You don't want to give us a special message. Are you having a game with me?
Oh, jeez.
As I asked the question, are you having a game with me? It threw the cardboard box and the pillow right in my face. Well, thank you very much. That was a very good answer.
We was all
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit more. Hopefully, this is going to
have spent hours at the
see here.
Hodgson's house. Excuse me, as you guys, either those 17 away.
Oh, yeah, this is right here.
His teenage sister.
Good time.
Okay,
Now please go away. All
so
right?
just give it a second.
Please go away. I can't say any more to you now. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, there's those film stocks.
These
Okay, here.
teenage sisters believe they're haunted by a poltergeist.
I was going to ask the same question as I asked earlier. How many voices are there?
600.
600 the voices.
I know the joke.
How many really are there, Margaret?
I think so far we've had 10 sensible voices, but the rest of the names are absolute rubbish.
So that was that space. They didn't show exactly the full footage of it, but they showed an example out of it.
Slanger, bookshelf,
Oh wait,
got
hang
my-
on. There's one more scene here.
Stations was when Lego be haunted by a poltergeist.
It's not haunted.
Oh wait,
No,
actually,
Of course.
no, that was it of it. Okay. So what did you guys think?
Wow. So, like that actually just flew up in his face.
It's kind of hard to say, but there have been, again, not every single time, where some footage of things being lifted, are thrown across the room. Is typical in a lot of paranormal footage. So, but that I forgot about that scene myself. That supposedly Maurice Gross was thrown and had something hit him.
Oh,
He said a pillow
It was no, I thought it was I think he said it was a cardboard box.
and a pillow.
and a pillow.
You're right.
He wants a pillow fight. Yeah. So I guess Bill Wilkins just wanted a pillow fight.
In a way. See, if we had more time, I would have loved to have shown the full thing. But the problem is, again, it's 25 minutes of video, and we just don't have enough time for it.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, overall, I think Conjuring 2 is definitely on par with the original. It's like, sure, it may not be historically accurate, but the story and the suspense, the jump scares, all of it was enjoyable.
Sadly, when it comes to the real case too, most of the people involved in the real case have all passed away since. So
Yeah, I know the mom, Peggy, has since passed away back in, I want to say 2003, if I remember correctly.
I'm not going to show it this time. I'll just read it. It shows everybody who was involved. Anita Gregory, the skeptic, who one of many visitors to Enfield, who concluded in her brief investigation that the girls had staged certain incidents and felt that the evidence from the case had been greatly exaggerated. Unfortunately, died a few years later on November 7th, 1984, at the age of 59. Dr. John Beloff, another one of the skeptical members, died on June 1st, 2006, at the age of 86. Maurice Gross, turned out he remained in contact with the family until his death that same year on October 14th of 2006. That same year at the age of 87, several months after Beloff's death. He spent much of his time towards the end of his life defending his investigation of the haunting of the Enfield events, writing articles for a wide range of publications and speaking at conferences. Then Guy Playfair remained an active researcher, author, and SPR council member almost until his death in 2018 at the age of 83. He also vigorously defended the legitimacy of the investigation and claims of paranormality. Then yes, Peggy Hodgson, the mother, she actually did remain in the house until her death on October 14th, 2003, at the age of 73. The same day, ironically, as Gross's death 3 years later. She avoided publicity after the disturbances subsided in 1979, but never changed her position about the anomalous nature of what she had experienced.
Wow.
And the most recent person of the case, Mary Rose Barrington, another member of the SPR, passed away on February 20th, 2020 at the age of 94. And actually, one of the kids, you're going to find this hard to believe, one of the kids sadly passed away at a young age. The younger brother, Johnny Hodgson, he tragically died of cancer in 1981 at only 14 years old.
14?
Yeah.
My
He was
God.
only 14 and he had cancer. And as far as the remaining family members, Johnny, the other brother, he's now in his early 50s and he lives in Essex, shying himself away from the public eye, but living close to his sisters. And as for the sisters Janet and Margaret, who are now in their late 50s, have since made several television appearances in subsequent years, where they continue to insist on the authenticity of their experiences and the genuineness of the phenomena.
Oh.
Which this will be the last slide. I got a photo of what they now look like later in life, which I'm sure you guys have seen, but I'll show it to you guys anyway. So here, and this is also what their the house looks like for the most part. Still looks pretty much the same.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's Jana on the left and Margaret on the right.
Man.
So, Ashley's heading out. Good night, Ashley.
Oh yeah, I pointed that out. Yes. Good night, Ashley.
So that's all I gotta have for for the slides I got. Again, I can go on for hours if I wanted to, but I don't want to fully take over your show, Don.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I mean that's a big part of what we were doing on here. We're covering not only talking about not just scenes from the movie, we're also comparing it to the real case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad my slideshows can also help out with some. This can definitely show down that some of my slideshows can help out with your episodes of FearFans when you talk about haunted house cases. So now I have another good reason why these slideshows my presentations are always successful.
And I guarantee you we'll be doing the same thing when we cover the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my God! You're
we'll
gonna have to see what I got for that one. If the Enfield Poltergeist slideshows you saw, even though you only saw a few of them because I was cutting it down because I know I didn't have enough time. You're gonna love what I have for Amityville.
Nice, but yeah. So there were some really all sorts of other terrifying scenes in Conjuring 2, like where Janet was teleported into that room and all the crosses that her mom that Peggy had nailed onto the wall just turned upside down, indicating a demonic presence, something that insults God. That's what the upside down cross is meant to be, like a mockery towards God.
The mocking of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yes. mocking of the cross, and now that takes the shape of a nun, another form of mockery.
Real quick, what Sarah said, Janet. I didn't hear anything about Janet passing away. I think she's still alive.
Let me check.
Although now Sarah's also saying that Janet has also recanted her words of what really happened, because you probably did notice very briefly in the footage, there was some fakery that did go on during this case where the sisters did stage some of the stuff. I don't know if you heard it briefly. Yeah. So I heard an echo or something. I thought someone else was speaking. But yeah, there was if you heard very briefly when I was skipping across, there was one part where they asked the girls, "Is this house haunted?" And Janet's like, "No, it's not." And then her sister's like, "No, shut up. Don't say anything." You know, that kind of thing. So while some of it was legitimate paranormal, there were other times it was the work of pranks.
All right. Oh, Jeremy.
Hey, what a surprise.
Hey, Jeremy.
I literally just got done pre-recording the wrestling show for Sunday.
I was going to say, I looked at that. I'm like thinking, wait a second. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. It's because of, the pre-record.
Yeah, the reason we're pre-recorded is because it's on Mother's Day. And if Donald goes live on the wrestling show on Mother's Day, he probably wouldn't be alive after the end of the
Right. Smart move.
Yeah, so how you been, Jeremy?
Busy. It's like one thing after another. So many things going on. We're getting caught up on all kinds of doctor appointments. I'm getting ready to start my next trial.
I see.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, but
we had a vote today.
Oh,
okay.
I see.
Yeah. So trying to figure out who the hell I'm going to vote for is.
Oh,
you can vote for Donald J. Trump. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to.
It's going to be a really interesting election this year for sure.
Yes, it will.
Oh, yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, I was hoping that soon, once you get better, I would love to have you back on the show again.
Yeah, I enjoy doing the show, and especially for Conjuring 2. This is one of my favorite horror movies. Definitely a strong addition to the horror genre. This is one of those cases where, in my opinion, the sequel lives up to the original.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Yep.
I wish you were here earlier, because we've been kind of making it a crossover between Nick Files and FearFans. So it's been actually oh my goodness, look who just showed up too. Donald.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Don.
We were doing a wrestling show. And the fun thing about Conjuring 2 is that it is set in Christmas time.
Yeah.
So that just adds another movie to my Christmas marathon every year.
Nice.
Right.
That's right.
Good point.
But I was saying, if only you were here earlier, I was showing some of my slides and some of the real stuff involving the Enfield poltergeist, like the audio, the video. It was really cool stuff.
So in that research, I do want to ask you, in the movie where they did the thing with the two tape reels and then put them together to get that one sentence, it won't let me go away or something like that.
Right.
Won't let me
Did
go.
that actually happen in real life?
As far as from what I found in my research, I didn't find anything like that. I think because that line, "it won't let me go," probably had something more to do with the nun, obviously. As we've already said countless times, there was no demonic nun in that house. That was obviously just made for the movie. But
Right.
there was supposedly a real Bill Wilkins, and he had a son that was still alive at that time that confirmed that while not necessarily, because we made a good point, while not necessarily that he may have actually died in the house itself, he definitely did die in that chair in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And it's said that the woman in the movie died in that same chair as well.
Peggy, yeah. Well, it didn't say if she actually died in that same chair, but she did die. She did die in that same house. She died.
She
over
died
20 years ago.
Spot. She died
Yeah,
in the
same spot. Yeah, she died in 2020 years ago, 2003.
What was
The hell was that?
Sorry, I clicked on something.
Okay. Yeah, but Tom, or Nick, did you hear from Tom? Because I don't know.
He's on BB3.
They're doing a open chat show. They actually did it about the same time, so that's why Tom's not on.
Oh, okay. I was thinking he's either like on a different show. I didn't know if he was like helping his dad out. I don't know what it was.
No, not this time.
Okay.
Donald, did you see Conjuring?
I did. I was talking to Jeremy earlier about. I said, like, which one is two? Is like, is that the one over in England? He's like, yeah, that's when it's announced. Like, okay,
England.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
the bill, the whole thing with the bill. You know, it's like creepy as hell.
Yeah.
That and the Crooked Man.
Mm-hmm.
We went over like how the Crooked Man was played by Javier Botet, who plays monsters in all sorts of other movies.
Like Slender Man.
Yes, he was Slender Man. His performance as Slender Man was probably the only good thing that ever came out of that movie. Seriously, that was terrible.
I was supposed to say I haven't seen Slender Man, so I'll have to watch it, but maybe now. Oh, at work.
It's all right.
At work for the past, I don't know, a couple months, we've been taking our lunch, and they're on Tubi and pulling up 80s horror movies. They had a whole section of 80s horror. And we've been sitting there going through the whole list and watching each one. It's like, I like B movies. I love B horror movies, but good God, there were some horrible movies made.
Yeah, Tubi, like a few of those other ones, like Tubi and Peacock, they tend to have a few bad horror movies mixed in there.
Some of those terrible Amityville films, so they have them there too.
You're going to find bad horror movies everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yes. Yeah, like they can't even like make it big in Hollywood, so they depend on stream services to like for that. I mean,
yeah, but
I don't depend on stream services. I want the physical media because the streaming services, you're at their mercy, and I'm not going to have that.
Yep. Physical copies. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm going to have to make a list of those movies on Tubi and bring them up to you and see if you've seen some of them, because there's some
for sure
really bad movies.
Conjuring 2 was on Tubi.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Or is.
Is it?
Yeah, not all.
It's
That's
on
correct.
It's
there.
true. Yeah, it's true. Not everything is bad on Tubi. Not all of them. There are some good.
No,
things.
but there were some good movies on there. I think the Sleepaway Camp series, or at least the first one's on there.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, they have Terminator. That's something. That's one of my favorite action movies.
Yeah, they've been starting. I mean, although they add a lot of the bad ones, they also have been adding a lot of good ones too at the same time.
Let's see. Oh, they have Ringu. Nice.
Ringu,
the original. Oh, Nick.
Yeah.
What?
What is it? What is that? Here, wait, hang on a second.
I can't see it.
Oh no, not Bunny Man Massacre. No.
Who mentioned Bunny Man before?
Probably me.
Yes, that's a movie we'll never watch ever again, and I mean ever.
No, don't see it. Do not see it.
It can't be any worse than
You're just wasting your time at that
I
point.
was like, I'm gonna put it on the list.
Yeah.
You will be sorry.
When you
It can't be any worse than Winnie the Pooh.
And
It is.
World, and the
Yeah.
only rule that you ever say is never say never.
Never.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to hop off here. I see that great show is already on. I just
Yeah.
wanted to come on here and
Oh, your favorite?
give my 2 cents on this movie because I really
Oh,
love this movie.
yep. Killer Clowns from
Killer
Outer
Clown.
Space.
Of course.
So I just wanted to hop on here and give my 2 cents because I just love this movie.
And, even if it was brief, I'm glad to have you on, Jeremy. Oh, and so that everybody knows, next week we will be covering something that a lot of people have been wanting for a while: Child's Play, the original from 1988.
Ooh,
classic.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't do that one?
Not yet.
No, we haven't done that one yet.
Yep, I've been saving it for a good occasion. I'd figured this would be it. Yeah. So
Let me ask you a question, and some of y'all. Have you seen Ready Player One?
Yes.
You know what? I still need to see
Multiple times.
Wait, Nick, you haven't seen it yet?
What was that? Wait, no, I haven't. Wait, who was I talking with about that movie? Was that?
It's such a fun movie to watch.
You know what's funny? I could have
I watched
actually
it
seen
yesterday.
that. I could have seen that movie
Really
for
good movie.
free.
You told me that.
I'm ready.
Oh yeah, it was you, Joe. It was you and Tom. I think we were talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, you were there too, Joe. Yeah. Okay,
I'm ready
so
for the sequel.
Yep.
so Don, Jeremy,
Awesome movie. I've seen it 1,000 times or more by now.
It's
Yeah.
good.
I
So
want to get the book. I want to read the book.
Same.
So Don, Jeremy, and Donald, just make this quick. I was at a film festival down in Peoria when Ready Player One came out, and because I was part of the film festival, I basically could have seen any movie I wanted for free, and I should have seen Ready Player One. Well, because I was helping out with the festival, even though that was a total failure. And also another movie that was out, and this was a movie you and I saw, Don, before that, just like a few weeks prior, that really bad horror movie, Truth or Dare.
Oh, I would choose this over Truth or Dare any day.
I should, if I knew better, I would have. I would have seen Ready Player One, but I was helping out along with Tom McNicholas with the film festival, which again was really bad, and I was checking out some of their movies they were showing. So
I would pick that movie over probably 80% of what I've got in my library.
It has a lot of nostalgia, especially if you're a gamer.
Oh yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Yep.
And in reference to Chucky, you're talking about Chucky, and it just immediately
Oh yeah.
popped in my head.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I died laughing when I saw that part.
I died. Yeah, I did too.
I love
I was like, oh my God, look at this Chucky.
And then all them red lights just start popping up of everybody.
That movie had a ton of Easter eggs in it.
It did.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I seem to find another one.
Yep. And The Shining played a role in that film as well, Nick.
Yep.
Oh really?
Yep.
Yes.
Here's
Oh my
the thing.
God.
The Shining was put in the film, but it was not a part of the book.
Wow.
Right.
There was another scene that was in the book. For whatever reason, they were not able to do it for the film, so they replaced it completely with The Shining.
Yep. Nick, this weekend I'm coming over and I'm showing you this movie.
Yeah.
We're watching it.
I got nothing going on this weekend, so sure.
Yeah, we're watching it.
Let's
That's
do
awesome.
it.
I would watch it again.
Yeah.
I would.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm ready for it.
All right.
Ready Player One.
Yes. For sure, man.
I mean, it's like this. It's no different. Also, like, I think it was you two who showed me this, and I've been trying to see that up until then. I was trying to see it when it came out. I think you also introduced me to. Yeah, you did. You introduced me to Deadpool. So if you were able to introduce me to Deadpool, I'm sure you could do the same for Ready Player One.
Yeah, I even have the digital copy.
Oh, awesome!
That's how much I love this movie. Yes. Same with the Conjuring movies. All
Yeah.
of them. Yes. Oh man. Oh here. I want to come with popcorn. Oh, for sure. Everybody wants to see it now. So are we turning this into a digital watch party? What's going on here?
I don't know. Look what you did, Don. Now you got to put a watch party. Look what you did. Look what you did.
Yes.
Look what you made me do.
Don't do it on Mother's Day.
Oh man. But oh man, yeah, I can't wait for the new Conjuring movie coming out, The Conjuring Last Rites. Oh,
Yeah,
rent a
movie
theater.
theater.
Oh, you know, you can actually do that. There is a movie theater like close by to like I think my aunt and uncle's place out in Naperville. There's actually a theater where you could set up an event, like bring a whole bunch of people, and you could actually have just any movie set up in there.
Huh.
Wow,
Yeah. I always wanted to try that.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Is it expensive to do, or
I'll have to check the rates, but it might be something I could pull off one day.
Yeah,
Sounds
they
like a good
did something
plan.
like that when the local theater here. You could rent the theater out for a birthday party.
Make it an official Fear Fans event. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome.
Nice.
Good idea.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can see Joe and Jeremy coming. I mean, because they're just to stay away from us. But Donald, Joe, I don't know what to say. You guys are a couple states further.
Trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish it were possible for like all of us to get together here in Chicago. I really wish.
Yeah.
Let's
I don't know
do
how far Chicago is.
But hey, if that happens, I'm treating us all to Lou Malnati's. Best deep dish pizza you'll ever eat.
But if you go to Jeremy's area, though, he's got to introduce to that pizza that is
Always pizza.
Oh my God, Don! If you love Lou Malnati's, one of these days when we have the chance of bringing you to Jeremy's house, you got to try this deep dish pizza that they got there. It's like out of this world.
I'm all for it.
I need to try that pizza too. Pizza's like my favorite food group.
All right, that's two events.
I-
That's two
I'm
Fear Fans
looking-
events now.
You know what? That's one thing, Jeremy. When I come down that way in what is that? August, end of July, August. I got to be at Eloise on the 2nd of August, so it'll be before that. On our way through, you have to take me to the best pizza joint in town.
Yeah, for sure.
You're in for a treat.
Yes.
Well, for me, the best of them all is always Pizza Hut, but the one for yeah,
not a big box store.
Well, I enjoy the buffalo chicken pizza that they make. That's what I like. But when you talk about your traditional pizza, well, there's nothing traditional about Olay's. But for Olay's pizza, the way that they do it, you just can't miss it.
Oh my God.
Well, like here, we have a lot of box chain places here in town, and I don't know, we live in a small town. We got like 3 Mexican restaurants. It don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But it's sad that Pizza Hut can make better hot wings than Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
I can agree with that. Yes.
We don't have that many Pizza Huts.
You know, all this
unfortunately, in
food
area,
about all this talk about food's making me hungry now. Especially pizza. I could live on pizza. My mom used to say that boy could live on pizza. Eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he'd be happy.
My dad used to call my grandfather used to call it fried cardboard whenever my mom would buy it.
Fried cardboard.
Yeah, fried cardboard. Yeah.
Yes.
Some of it tastes like that, though.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Chris. I have Grubhub. Yeah. Sometimes I use it for Pizza Hut. Yeah, like I have like so many different accounts. I got like Grubhub. I got a Domino's account. I've got Lou Malnati's account. I'm pretty much all set.
Pizza Hut around here is like the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah.
They have the greasiest pizza in the world. It's not like it was back in the 70s and early 80s when they used to do the personal pan pizza.
Oh, well,
Then it was really good.
Those were good.
Yes.
Then Pizza Hut was really good.
Yeah, our Pizza Hut is actually good.
You could say that to a lot of places nowadays.
Oh yeah, they changed the recipes to cut costs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I just saw a meme or something a while back or yesterday about the Big Mac.
Yeah,
or
and
the quarter
Chris,
pounder. The quarter pounder was huge.
I don't
compared
eat
to
at McDonald's anymore.
what it is now.
Chris
I haven't
makes
eaten at McDonald's or a fast food joint in
Now McDonald's
5 years.
greasy.
yeah.
I had it yesterday.
into a cremation incinerator.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I just wanted to pop on really quick for this particular episode.
Yes.
Since you're doing Child's Play next week, I'll probably might be on for that one.
Okay, I would
Well,
love to.
hey, Jeremy, before you pop out, wife and I probably ain't going to be doing the wrestling show for a while. I'm getting burnt out on wrestling.
Already?
I've been watching it for so long. And the weather's getting so nice. I'm trying to get outside more.
Okay.
You know, it's
Can't
that
argue
time
with
of
that.
year where I want to really get busy and do things, and it's getting down to the end where I'll be moving soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I wish you the best of luck on that, Joe.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I got to do some things to my place as well.
Well, those storms come in, you get a little frightened in a mobile home.
Yeah.
You know, especially when the tornado sirens go off like they did today a little while ago. They just went off a little while ago.
You guys saw those pictures that I posted earlier today?
Yeah.
Those were menacing looking clouds. It literally turned day into night. And it was only
it would rip this.
It was only
just
after 9 a.m.
A small little one. Nothing compared to those that I've seen you take pictures of or share from Chicago and stuff during the time they had that outbreak. But man, just a little one would tear this place to shreds.
Yeah, it would. I actually, if you guys seen those pictures, there was kind of like almost looked like a giant wall cloud that was kind of like a lowering. And I actually got a little concerned because I was thinking to myself, I really hope that's not a wall cloud. But when I looked at it, though, fortunately it wasn't, because if it was, I would have seen rotation and, of course, large hail, which none of that stuff ever happened. But I couldn't imagine what it would have been like if we were under that thing. That sucker probably would have caused quite enough damage alone.
Oh wait, I didn't realize Greg was on tonight. I thought he was.
We got to wrap this up. Unfortunately.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't. I thought you told me that he wasn't on for the next few days or next few weeks.
Well,
that's changed.
Okay,
it's changed now. Okay,
my mistake. I thought that was still the case. My mistake. Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, so to wrap this up, Conjuring 2, it's on par with the original. I love it. And be sure to tune in next week as we cover Child's Play. I've been waiting so long to cover this.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait. I love that movie. One of my favorites.
All right. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'm sorry. Go, Joe.
I'm going to give you a quick spoiler alert. I was the one that put Chucky in the Care Bears.
Oh boy.
It's too bad you could have told that when Ashley was watching.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that crossover?
Oh,
I was saying earlier, I think what would have scared me the most probably would have most likely been the Care Bears.
All right, so hope you guys enjoyed, and hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, Support Things Network, support all of our channels, support all of us.
Yep. InsaneAsylumPodcast.com.
And I'll speak out for Tom. YouTube.com/This is Tom's World.
Tom's
No
World.
spaces,
This is
no
Tom's World.
Yes. Oh, hey, Nick.
Don't
Cockroaches.
end it now.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Bye.
All right. So have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Stay safe.